Hello and welcome to this week's episode of TLDR CLG. This is the week of May 4th, 2015. I'm Brendan and this is my host, Jim. Or my co-host, Jim, because we're both hosting. But, as everyone here knows, it's a fantastic day. Nothing bad's going on. May the 4th, Hotshot, not Darth Vader.
It's great outside.
It's great outside?
Yeah.
So, what happened this week in LoL?
Not particularly much. I mean, there were some Rank 5 streams, which just, they're available. VODs are available online. They're worth watching if you want to see the team, the current roster play. I'll stay off of saying the team because they're not confirmed as the team yet, as a lot of speculation has said. There was the Stixxay Dilemma that came out today. That was a bit of a big one.
So, let's just talk about what happened.
Yeah, more or less what has happened with that is Stixxay, the AD carry, formerly of Cloud9 Tempest, who was on CLG Black in the NACS this past split, has had offers sent his way and is looking at joining other teams, including Misfits. And an article came out today claiming that sources close to him have stated that CLG, particularly Hotshot, are refusing to allow him to break his contract or get out with his buyout clause. What? Hotshot and the management have come and said the opposite, saying that they've been in close contact with him, and if a team wants to buy him out, there's nothing they can do in the contract-wise. So, honestly, it's a bit overblown.
And Stixxay wants to leave, then there's nothing they can do. Because
exactly.
But there's people, they're saying that people who have offered to buy out Stixxay didn't want to leave, so that buyout doesn't really mean anything, right?
As we've seen in the past, I don't think CLG has ever wanted to ruin a player's career. We look at there's a lot of successful players that have left the team. No, I'm serious. Yeah, think about it. Like,
I think that's a joke.
Boy went on and had a nice career.
Players have left the team. The successful players have not stayed on the team. That was a joke.
Well, I mean, have continued their careers on after the team. Peter specifically, I guess we can get onto that in a short time.
Yeah. But then initially there was another small, there was a little geyser of
fun. Lots of fun.
Yeah, fun. Let's say with fun. So
yeah, let's say it's fun.
There was I find your lack of faith disturbing with HotshotGG's face on Darth Vader, right? That was
something of the sort. Yeah, more or less. Hotshot had a short post expressing some frustration in not the best, most diplomatic words, stating that in his initial post, his 2-line post, saying that if you don't have faith, go home or something.
There's another little 2 or 3 lines before that.
Yeah, but it was pretty short and sweet. And if you're someone who has been making negative comments and considering yourself being negative as being constructive, or writing constructive things that inherently are negative, it can be frustrating as him. And he went and pointed out, why are you being so negative? We're going to figure something out anyway.
And then I think there was what he said was a lot of the stuff like Halo, CS, and the stuff that doesn't even matter to LoL.
Oh no! He followed up his post. His first post was kind of funny in the long run, but he did follow up his post with a retort on a more longer form diplomatic post that really expressed what he was really trying to get across. Is that CLG players and teams and management himself, etc., enjoy going to the CLG subreddit, and if you go.
Enjoy is a strong word.
Well, when CLG is performing well, the subreddit's very happy, and it can be encouraging. And if you go there when the team has come up, is in an off season, and it seems to be negative, as
we won a lot. We won a lot in CS.
No, we won a LAN in CS, but as an overall tone, you look at how teams have been performing. Halo hasn't performed as well as last season yet so far.
Oh god! The worst thing I saw on the main League of Legends subreddit was that they're saying that Halo is the 5th best team in a team in a game that only has 2 teams in it, and I was like, no, we were the 2nd best team. It's one tournament. God damn it! Shut up.
Yeah, right. So more or less, he was pointing out that if you're at a place like the CLG subreddit where the team frequents and tries to be encouraged by because there's a lot of fans there. If fans tend to be negative because even if they want to be like productive, constructive, productive, etc., it can be really negative for the environment of the team that makes them not want to go there anymore. And it depends on, it's really what's the goal of the CLG subreddit. Do you want the team to frequent there and have nice conversations with them? If you do, that's you can have one perspective. If you don't, it's fine. It's the nice greatness of Reddit is that it's up or down, and there's a lot of people that vote those things up, and they if they get up there, they deserve it.
Don't look at me. I just work here.
But more or less, the more fun part that has come out of it is that
dank memes, dank memes.
Yeah.
Boys.
Oh yeah, dank memes. Exactly. More or less, it's
memes.
You
galore.
have more faith. Have more faith in the team.
And my favorite line in that whole situation was, "CLG needs more faith in medieval Europe."
Can we have like some faith healing?
Okay, moving on. So, CS:GO.
Indeed.
We played 3 different teams. And 4 different teams, because we just finished
4 different teams this week, or this past week,
so let's
including
just go
the game
we went through the Nylon one, which is the best of 2, which was happening exactly 1 week ago.
Correct.
On Monday, which we were recording during. I think we won that in the 2-0. It was pretty good. April 28th. We had PTR that one, right?
Yes. So particularly, this was our last game played with Peter.
Okay.
On the main roster. If you hadn't heard already, Peter has been removed, dropped, or has moved on from the roster, whichever way you want to put it.
He's currently on Luminosity right now.
Exactly.
And we will be playing them in approximately a week or 2?
Or so. Yeah, it's next week.
A week or so. Yeah,
so in this Nylum game, we had Peter. One thing about this Nylum team, this is Nylum after they gained Semphis, but they have not gotten Hiko yet. Okay. Hiko is now a member of the Nylum roster. This is a 2-0 victory for CLG.
And who was playing instead of Hiko for that as their lurker?
I can't recall. This is one of their older roster guys.
Okay.
And the information, I can grab it real quick if you like.
That's not important. Not important tonight. I can't remember, right?
More or less, the first match was on
Catch.
The first match, yes, exactly. The first match was on Catch. Map was Cash. CLG had a very heavy lead on Cash, but the lead got caught up to by Nylum and forced into an overtime, which really shouldn't have happened. CLG ended up having a strong overtime performance and won it in 1 overtime. And then they played on overpass and won pretty handedly 16-6. So,
is it handedly or handedly?
There's
no second.
Handedly?
Yeah. Just something.
Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But,
I think it's handedly because there's no second D.
Sure. I mean, there's
that.
2 of us.
Let's not go there.
So
there's already enough testosterone in
the
this.
next match that we had in CS:GO was a best of 5 CS Select show match between CLG and Phoenix Fire, and Phoenix Fire being a reasonably lesser known team and not a top North American team. It was highly expected that CLG would either 3-0 or at least win that, and they happened to. It was a 3-0 in the end. And because, as I said already, Peter's not playing with the main roster right now, we played with JDM. If you recall JDM, if you're a fan of this roster, these players on CLG for a while, you'd recall back in the days of netcode guides, JDM played with them. Mm-hmm. He was their former opper prior to the team he retired. He retired. They moved over to Mousepaz, and Cutler opted for a short period of time until they picked up Peter.
Okay.
So he's come out of retirement and has actually recently been scrimming with the team.
And he's been doing pretty well, right?
Reasonably well. I mean, like once we get to the game, this week's game, it's a bit different. He's filled Peter's shoes as well as he can at this point for at least someone coming out of retirement. Like think like Saint Vicious in a way.
I'm thinking more like
Saint Vicious isn't. I mean,
like RPK, right?
Yeah. I'm saying just Saint Vicious isn't Rush. He's not like some new kid on the block who's just shitting on everyone, right?
But he got shit on by Rush, so don't forget that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my assumption is that JDM probably would get reasonably shit on by like Kenny S or something.
Rush ain't no Kenny S.
I mean, in North American jungle at this point.
Then you should be bringing a European into this conversation then. Well,
Skadoodle. I would think Skadoodle would outplay JDM reasonably well.
I don't know. I don't care.
But yeah, exactly. Move on. More or less, it was a nice 3-0. CLG, the maps played were Cache, Overpass, and Mirage, though they were a bit closer than expected. We expected reasonably high score lines of like 16-9s, maybe 16-6s. There was 16-12 on Cache, 16-10 on Overpass, and 16-13 on Mirage.
So they were a little bit closer than expected, but still not.
Well, I mean, it's reasonable to expect. Like, it was hard to actually make a prediction there, because if you think
because it's a new roster, you have
out of nowhere a completely new Opper, or not a completely
they played with him
new,
before, but he's coming out.
He's come out of retirement. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So they haven't played with him in a while, and it's like new team, but it's still like a team you haven't played against before, so it was kind of shaky. But I think this is okay to expect. They weren't doing terribly.
Exactly, they weren't actually. Particularly, I really liked some of JDM's plays. He made some really nice. Quick scoping and flick shots. It was fantastic. And Hazed played out of his mind in this game. He just was lurking like a motherfucker. Like, basically, Phoenix didn't know where to expect him. There were several times on Overpass, particularly, where he came up into A site from a weird angle and just retook a site out of nowhere on like 1v2s, 1v3s.
Okay.
And that just shouldn't happen as much.
Next match would be SKDC versus CLG. The 2-0 win for us as well. And it was with Lucky this time, right?
Correct. Yeah, so these matches or maps were Dust 2 and Inferno. Dust 2 being SKDC's pick, where CLG picked Inferno. Dust 2, we gained a very high lead, and didn't hold on to it, or held on to we had match point for quite a while, and eventually closed it out, akin to what has happened several times. Lucky had a reasonably good showing. We did see, we saw the ops swap around on CLG quite often in this match. More or less, it seemed to be whoever felt like they were more online was doing it, whether it was
Cutler
or Cutler.
Cutler, yeah.
Actually, we saw Hayes with the op a few times.
Yeah, I'm always so confused with this CLG roster, because I know Peter plays the op and Jarek plays the entry fragger, but then like everything else is kind of murky.
Well, it's because they're all reasonably strong riflers. That's the big...
it's good, but it's kind of like confusing as a viewer. There's like who's lurking, who's entry, who is doing what, who's I don't even know.
Well, I mean, that's how a lot of teams change things up. It's like some of the really big European teams have it really set in stone. Yeah. But teams rotate their positions quite often. Mm-hmm. Like actually, if you followed CS:GO news, C9 picked up a few new players, and they've been shifting their roles around a lot.
Well, that's because they're a new roster. But I think for CLG, they're actually a pretty solidified roster, and they still seem to.
Yeah, that's reasonable to say.
They swap a lot considering how long they've been playing.
Well, hey, I mean that can if you can all consistently play these different positions and different roles.
Yeah, but it's like it's like a jack of all trades versus the master of none. It's kind of It's like you're never going to match up with like the Kenny S's of the world, but you'll be okay.
But if you can throw off the Kenny S's and you can throw them off enough, like it may be worth it. If being able to play anything, like if being able to play these really random positions can throw people off, it may be worthwhile.
But it's that system where you don't really have all the right. You're playing with a square hole and you have a round peg. It's not really most efficient.
Exactly. It's not the most efficient. It's very efficient to have everyone set in stone doing what they're doing and crushing at it, like the NIP or Fnatic, all these European teams. But everyone's got to find their own way. So we had that Dust game. There was a reasonable attempt at a comeback from SKDC, and the same vein with Inferno. CLG just couldn't close. It took them a while to close it out.
Okay.
It ended up being 16-11, as I'd mentioned. And the last game was, we quite literally just got finished watching it. There were 2 games, in fact, against Ace Gaming this week. A best of 2 in the CEVO League.
3 games, 2 series.
Yes, 3 maps, 2 series. Best of 2 in CEVO, which if you follow the CEVO League, that's their format. You have a best of 2 where you can get, it's 2, 1, or 0 points based. More or less, you win the series, you tie the series, or lose the series.
Similar to LPL format for any League watchers, or old OGN format.
Yeah, exactly. And we had, first there was the CEVO match, and then there was the ESEA map. Mm-hmm. it was if you watch the pick ban, it was a bit interesting on the map wise, because the bans went pretty traditionally and akin to the SKDC match. CLG or Ace Gaming picked Dust 2. CLG picked Inferno.
Which is kind of strange because Dust 2 is typically seen as CLG's one of their better maps, right?
I don't know how much I agree with casters if you go watch the games over.
Okay.
Dust 2 is a good hubby map. Like you can anyone could win it. Whoever's like more on fire and has the more like
more on point that day can win
it's more on point. Whoever has those like tricky strategies that get to people's heads can win it. And
I know CLG has a lot of their like most famous upsets on that.
Exactly. So they've made their upsets on that, but they've also had their big losses that would have brought them deeper into tournaments on that map. Yeah. It's not like it's a map that CLG does have the potential to upset people on, but that doesn't take the fact that any team can get upset on that map out of the equation. That's my opinion of it.
Okay.
So they played that map. CLG.
15-10.
Yeah, CLG had, I think it was like 15-7 or something like that. No, 15-4. I think it was 15-4 CLG had map point, and it just took them a hell of a time to close it out. They ended up winning, obviously, but it just took them quite a while to close it up. It was other than having these strings of round losses, it was pretty consistent play. JDM, again, JDM was playing.
Yeah, JDM was helping. And for the second series, too, right?
Correct. Both games against Ace, or both matches against Ace Gaming today were with JDM. Mm-hmm. And so the second map was Inferno, another 16-10 scoreline. Yeah. This time, CLG was initially really shut down when they were playing the T side, but eventually won a string of 7 rounds going through the second half.
Okay.
Up through the beginning of the second half and closed it out pretty handily once I think they lost the T side 8-7, which is worse than
normal.
Worse for the CT team. The CT,
so that's good for them.
Good for CLG, exactly.
Okay. They were in a position like trying to figure out what's going on.
English is hard, right? But more or less, CLG ended up coming back in the first half, and then after having a couple struggling rounds, they just killed Ace Gaming's money and just crushed them and finished it.
And then ESEA was a little bit of a ruffle stomp.
Oh yeah. The kind of funny part is with the map picks, the last 2 picks. So like when in CEVO, the maps you get, each team gets 2 bans, and then there are 3 maps left on the board. The 3 maps left on the board in the CEVO match were Dust 2, Inferno, and Overpass. So
it was technically like a third match of the series.
Exactly. They played the third map that was available. So they played this Overpass match, and
these are like back to back, right? So that's why.
Yeah, right back to back. Just on different streaming platforms.
And MLgaming.tv is great. You should use that for all your streaming things.
Basically, CLG picked up was a 14-1 half and then won the pistol. So they
won.
Yeah, you win the pistol and run an anti-eco and just crush, and game's over. So
you mean that the Tech 9 doesn't win you every single round?
No,
I was told that the Tech 9 was overpowered and won you every single round.
No, that shit got nerfed, yo.
It's still strong though, isn't it?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's not bad.
Wait, what? Really? It's actually okay now?
No, it's not in the perfect spot. Nothing's ever going to be in the perfect position, but it's not as big of a problem as it was.
Because I remember the only nerf that I heard about was that the clip size lowering.
I mean, you can't say a nerf was accurate. Like
the Tech 9.
This is that's a.
I'm terrible. Oh God.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks for lining that up for me.
This is all subjective, and the player base considers that the Tech 9 is not in the perfect place yet, which I'll agree with. Okay. Though it's getting somewhere closer to it at some point, maybe.
At some point, maybe.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of equivocating to me.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's move on to the stuff that actually matters. Halo. Because who cares about LoL? Halo won our first competitive title in 2014. Yeah, right.
Halo. Oh, in 24. Yes, they won our first.
2014. They won our first.
Yes. Sorry, you're reminiscing at this point. I was like, did this happen this week?
No.
Did I miss something? Did I miss something?
When I'm reminiscing, I start talking about IPL 5, Double Lift, Loco Doco era stuff.
Okay.
And like OGN, where we beat MVP Blue. That's when I start going into like the golden age, not nostalgia. But then 2014, pretty good year for us. That LoL squad's not doing so hot, but like our main squad, Halo, best team in the world in 2014, won the biggest tournament in Halo at the time.
Some.
No, they won the biggest tournament at the time. That was the first tournament that had ever happened for Halo in like
in Halo 2, yeah, once it came back out.
Yeah.
Correct. But other than that,
apparently there wasn't an HCS tournament this week, and Royal 2 watched the Manny Mayweather fight. So, yay. Yeah. I mean, he wasted $100, but yay.
Yeah, I mean, we can elaborate on that fight if you like. More or less, it's how me and Brendan normally argue. He just runs away from me until I get tired. He runs away from me until you get tired, and then they consider you as the winner.
Hey, at least I won. That means you know who won.
Obviously.
Mayweather all the way. No.
Can I get the soundbite on that? I'll like post it all over the internet. And it was Snakebite's birthday on Sunday.
Yay! Happy birthday, Snakebite.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I guess one note that we didn't put in, I guess it's kind of a future thing as well. I think that the CSGO team is moving into the house in the near future. Hopefully,
it's like they're moving into the house in the near future. It's like this sounds very convoluted.
It's like the house tour itself.
Oh,
there.
That's happening. That's happening eventually.
Exactly.
So moving on, plays of the week. Can you give me a rundown? What happened? Who was it?
So we'll put this play up in a moment. More or less, it's a nice 4K by Tarek during the show match versus Phoenix Fire when they were on the CT side of Cash. And yeah, we'll run it.
Beautifully, and unfortunately Phoenix threw flashbangs, but they're kind of crappy flashbangs that they didn't really blind anyone on the spools, which is pretty much the most common op spot you can think of. Probably as soon as you get into cash and you're an op, you're like, what angle would I take? Probably spool holding a tight angle, and no flash got to that area. So JDM playing that beautifully, and now they're actually Phoenix going towards B bomb site, and there's only one player there. It's Tarek with an op. So let's see if he can hold this by himself.
Takes out main line, west of Phoenix coming in now, takes out Justin, Fresh trying to rush him, but a no-scope there as he takes out Trevor, swap to the pistol, takes out Silent before he finally falls down to Ely, but now it's all down to Ely in a 1 versus 4, and this should be a fairly easy cleanup for CLG.
Alrighty, so.
Indeed.
Can you just like break down what happened? Why
not? More or less, this is on the B site, and Tarek has an op, and honestly just goes fucking nuts. Like, picks up.
Does he get the double kill, then the triple kill, then the quadra kill? And
he picks two people. He picks two guys entering the site initially. Ducks past one of the crates, picks off another one with a op, then whips out his 5.7 and picks up a fourth guy before another guy realizes, oh, this guy has an op. We can just rush him and shoot him. And well, I mean, he had really solid positioning. That's the best way to put it.
Okay.
And his aim was on as fuck. Holy shit.
Well, calm down there. This is a PG show.
Hmm?
This is a PG show. Let's not drop any F-bombs here. There are children in the subreddit. There are children in the subreddit. Double entendre.
You mean like we are children
on the subreddit?
Yes.
Maybe. Player of the week. It seems like Hayes had a very good, very good. Even though like people were talking about how maybe like he would be one of the two players that would drop to improve the team. He's been playing really well in the game, and like out of the game, he's been very eloquent as well, right?
Yeah, that's more or less how I put it. I
remember like during the initial roster rumors, like Hayes and PDR were being looked at because they wanted to possibly pick up Skadoodle and Hiko.
I don't know how much Hiko was in the question. I know I know Skadoodle, but I know Skadoodle was up there because one of the things that came into question with Peter was that Peter's op. There was the inconsistency. He sometimes would just get beat. But compared to a lot of other players or like other operas worldwide, is his rifling didn't stand up. He wasn't like an opper who was a mediocre rifler when he was rifling.
Okay.
He was an opper who was really good when he's opping, but kind of subpar. So if you don't get your bank going and your team is inconsistent,
wasn't really effective.
Well, the problem was like when you got into like some of these pressure matches,
you couldn't really give him the op every turn reliably every round.
Well, so yeah, they didn't have enough rounds with him on the op for it to be effective.
Okay.
To like really keep winning those rounds.
But like I remember like during the initial like when the roster rumors like Hayes and Peter were two of the names that were very
Hayes and Peter were up for potentially being replaced. So back to the point of it being player of the week. Even though the teams that CLG played against this past week weren't particularly like the highest caliber North American teams, Hayes just looked like a stand-up player. Like rather than leaving the team or being frustrated with being potentially cut, he showed up, kicked ass, and just kicked ass, took names, and then went on to Reddit and said, "Hey,
I ran out of bubblegum."
Yeah, right. No, he went and did a bit of elaboration on why Peter had left the team, which is pretty in a very diplomatic way, which I really appreciated. Because rather than just say the traditional, "Oh yeah, we had just parted ways. He wanted to do something else, etc."
Yeah,
he
gave us a pretty transparent look at what was going on.
Yeah, he's saying like the team got like we started looking at new players, potentially myself leaving as well, and Peter didn't take that as well as we would have hoped. And the team really had a kind of falling out potentially because of that.
And then Peter went on to try for C9, then everything went to
Well, it was then a lot of things happened.
Words were said, things can't be taken back, and just, So moving on.
A little bit of funniness with that. Apparently, part of the reason JDM left the team initially was because of some falling out with... I think
We've come full circle.
Yes. But
We've come full circle.
I don't want to... The past is the past. We'll move on.
No, we
so
don't.
what else?
PL5 will always be that cherished memory in my heart. We're not ever moving on behalf of that. IPL5, buddy.
Oh god,
we beat that one European team, and TSM finished like 10th in that tournament.
Yeah,
and people are still saying that TSM was better than CLG.
Yeah,
goddamn.
Oh.
You finished 10th in a tournament where we finished 5th in, and you still think you're better than us. God damn it! We have fucking Loco Doco on support.
ChowX was the MVP of Season 2. MPV of Season 2. I actually really like ChowX.
ChowX? Yes.
Yeah, ChowX. He's my favorite.
I like him. But apparently, he isn't a nice person, as you can see on Katy Perry's hit single, Roar. So, CS, what's going on next week for LOL Esports?
LOL Esports? Well, MSI.
LOL. Emphasis on the LOL part.
Not much for CLG. There's the MSI. I don't know if we have any confirmation whether the existing roster, the unannounced team is going or not. Who knows?
I hear there will be an analyst desk. Double has that seat nice and warm for whoever may or may not be going.
And let's see. There isn't too much else.
HyperX House Tour? Because it was originally tied to a sponsor, and now that we've gotten the HyperX announcement, sign up for that retweet contest. If you follow HyperX and retweet that tweet, you can have a chance to win one of the 3 HyperX headsets.
Ooh.
I'm totally not getting sponsored for this, but if you could shoot me over a headset, I'd be pretty happy. No, kidding.
That'd be right?
That'd be right. Let's go to the house tour eventually.
And I guess
if that doesn't work, I'm just gonna go bike down to their house and just do an outside house tour. Then put that.
You really should. I want to see that. Just knock on the door, be like, have your camera on rapid take pictures.
Hey, HyperX, would you like to? Can I do the house tour now? I have a HyperX T-shirt in my garage or somewhere.
That would be hilarious. The only other thing in League that's potential is in the near future, there's going to be rosters locking in place for LCS, or at least having a 5-man roster as listed is going to be required. So we'll have some sort of announcement sooner than later. I don't know if this is particularly next week. We'll find out. We'll announce whether we get anything, but a lot of people will follow something else.
When we get our sources close to the organization telling us when stuff happens, You'll be sure I'll be leaking it all over.
Jacob Wolf, just hit me up. Yeah, I'll take your sources.
I am tangentially linked to CLG too. You can talk to me. I got this.
Yeah.
I've talked to Mickey twice when he was walking in the park. Twice.
Did you could get a hot dog and maybe get him to talk to you some more?
No, he doesn't eat that much meat, so.
Oh.
He's a little bit more of a, you have to butter him up a little bit, then he'll give you like the confirmation. 2 barks means that the Link is staying. 1 bark says that Link is leaving.
That's who Jacob Wolf's confidential source is? I didn't know.
So moving on past our games and stuff. CSGO is going to have a couple more matches. There's going to be a match versus Synergy, best of 1 in ESEA, match versus Lunatic, which is CEVO best of 2, and then the CLG Luminosity game is going to be probably the highlight or the headliner for this week because it's going to be Luminosity with PTR versus CLG with whoever their team is going to be.
Whoever at that point, yeah.
Hey, you never know. They might sub in the other Peter for that PTR.
Well, I mean, there is speculation that CLG's trying out Professor Chaos, formerly of Nihilum.
This is so strange. Okay.
He looked pretty good in the CLG Nihilum game. I thought he was one of one of Nihilum's at least standout players that game, but maybe not overall in the organization. I didn't know Nihilum, so who knows?
Don't ask me. I don't follow NACSGO at all. No, I follow it a lot.
Yeah.
But then it's not my cup of horchata.
Very specific there.
Because I like tea, so it's horchata. So.
But more or less, unless you follow Luminosity and want to keep up with Peter, at least in this upcoming week, you'll get to see CLG play against Peter and see how he's doing on his new team.
You can put some salt in those wounds for all those PTR fans, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
After he gets 15 headshots on us, why did we let him leave? And this will be Voy and St. Vicious all over again.
Yeah.
See, we're bringing back all those.
Why did we even let Loco Doco leave? Come on. If TSM hadn't have gotten Loco Doco, they wouldn't have rebounded back last split.
Hey, they would have had Glebe on support. That would have been goddamn amazing.
Exactly.
And I'm not talking about the jungler.
Gosh.
I'm not talking about the jungler. I'm talking about amazing. Just that would be beautiful.
But
a team with wild
I guess the team
and amazing trying to compete for the titles of the NALCS. The salt inside my soul is just started to wash away once I see those players on the same team.
But I mean, the thing is, I don't know how TSM deals with it. Nothing against Loco Doco personally, but when your vlogs
everything against Loco Doco personally.
I don't subscribe to Jim's
guys. Everything against Loco Doco. All the cancer, all the trash talk, and all the hate, all the vitriol.
All the other
and Jim agrees with me.
All the other players have girlfriends, and I don't have one. And I don't.
You need more eyebrows. And you need some more Alnoa. Alnoa. I can't pronounce that.
Hey, he's taken on the coach role pretty well. So
hey, Loco Doco was slain. Slain did nothing wrong.
Oh yeah,
Loco was literally slain incarnate.
What last bit we got? Halo on the table.
Halo. Which is going to be amazing because you know how Halo's.
It's Ogre 2 and Snakebite. Amazing is not on.
He's on actually
Origin.
ULCS.
He's not Origin.
Origen. You had to roll that R.
Origen.
Hey,
I have Spanish heritage.
So
Hispanic, yo.
So does that matter, Mr. Klopichik?
That's Slovenian, yo.
Halo is going to be on May 9th, 2015. Correct. Not next year, this year.
2 p.m. EDT.
2 p.m. EDT. This is going to be our
starting time for
Season 2.
Season 2 cups. So we've already had a Season 2 preseason LAN and 2 preseason cups. This is the first cup of...
not a preseason LAN, it's the season kickoff LAN.
Oh, so season kickoff LAN, correct. Yeah,
because that
gives the season kickoff LAN gives the seeding for this cup.
Yeah.
So,
and we're 5th place because apparently the last two... because we're apparently the 5th best team in Halo because some TSM fan doesn't follow the Halo scene, has read the HCS standings.
Oh, yeah.
But, at least...
Well, did you know that TSM is the best team in CSGO?
Did you know that we're undefeated against TSM in Halo? Undefeated. We've been crushing them for the last year.
We're also
Great.
undefeated against TSM in Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, undefeated. And our Hearthstone team is also undefeated.
Exactly. So remember that, CLG fans.
Look at the bright side.
We're undefeated in all the games we don't play.
4 different titles. Hey, no, we're undefeated in Halo. To CSM.
Oh, and one of the teams that we... No, I don't even know. I don't think we've played TSM yet in CSGO with this...
Halo, and I think we're undefeated to them. And
in CSGO, we haven't played them yet. They finished higher than us in tournaments, though. So.
No, we haven't played them. We're undefeated. That's what matters. The word undefeated. It's not false advertising if we haven't played them before.
Yeah.
Undefeated. We've been crushing them. Well, that's kind of... Never mind.
Crushing the non-existence of our games versus them.
Yes.
Exactly.
So, conclusion. Lots of dank memes have been born.
Sure.
I'm stuck reminiscing about the IPL 5 era.
Yep.
And I have so much faith.
Yeah.
Have faith, brothers.
Yes.
See you next week.
So long.